Today's episode, we are doing something really fun for you guys and gal who's watching, okay? We are going to our site right now that we just bought this site, and we actually bought it a year ago, but we're about to demo the house. And we're gonna give you guys a chance to see, right, what we're doing at this site, what it costs to demo this thing, and you're gonna see me hopefully get on this machine. I'm gonna demo the house myself. So let's get going, baby.
So put that on. I'll see if Dave has a hard hat for you.
No, I got a hard hat, but it doesn't have a what's calling on it. We're on a war today, guys. We're in business.
Brand new helmet for the green rookie.
That's right.
The greenie.
I'm over here with my partner Chris Welch, C-Mac. You guys see this 5 unit over here? This 5 unit, we built this. How long ago was this?
This thing's about 5 years old now.
5 years old, we built this, and now it's a rental now. We kept this, and now we just bought the property next door, and we're about to demo the house. So let's show you what we're gonna do today. Come on.
We're checking through the house, walking through, making sure there's nobody that decided to move in last night. Make sure we're safe and everything's empty before we do any damage.
What do you think? Should we take a little walk through the house, Chris?
Yeah, let's do
go.
it. Take a quick tour through, and then we'll be out.
So, Chris, why don't you tell the viewers, why do we put all the plastic in here if we're gonna demo the house down anyways? Why do we do all this?
All this plastic was put up because what we had to do beforehand, we had to check the house and make sure there was no asbestos in any of the materials. So we found that there was. And so in this case, an abatement crew came through and they removed all the popcorn ceiling, and that contained asbestos. So all this plastic was up to protect everything else so the asbestos didn't get anywhere else. And then once the asbestos popcorn ceiling was down on the ground, they cleaned it all out and they certify that the place is safe and there's no asbestos that's going to end up going into the dump.
You guys see there's a lot of furniture in here. It was no need to go try to dump it because we just paid dump fee twice. So we just left it here. They're going to demo the house. Once they demo the house, then all this will go along all into a dumpster all at one time. Oh. That was bigger than I thought it was. How soon, typically, when we know we get ready to demo a house, how soon do we need to get a hold of the demo people to get in the books? Because everybody's busy today.
The relationships come into factor there.
Yep.
We have a good relationship with Dave here that's doing it, and he's ready within 2 weeks.
Okay.
And some of that's just going to depend on how busy they are, of course, but some guys are 3 to 4 weeks. So you do want to get notice to your contractor or your demo.
We just got permit just recently, and we want to line up the demo right away because the longer it takes to get this guy, to demo the house, the longer it's going to take us to get this land ready so we can start excavating and throwing in the plumbing and everything, right?
Yeah. It's really like setting up dominoes. I mean, you can go back about a month and a half.
Right.
We were starting to stack the dominoes, notifying utilities, power, water, gas, getting all those disconnects done, getting the asbestos abatement survey to find out if there was asbestos, getting the asbestos removed.
Right.
So you get all these things lined up, and then you got to start tipping those dominoes over until you get to this point. And if you don't get them all lined up right, you're going to have a delay.
How long do you think it's going to take to demo this house down, clear everything before we can start excavating the land?
The house itself will actually be down in a pile probably within about an hour and a half. It'll go real quick on this one.
Okay.
But it'll take about 3 to 4 days to actually get it all, put it in the containers, get the containers out, an empty container back. The whole process is probably about 4 days on this.
Okay. We're building 5 units here, just like the property next door. It's going to be designed a little bit different. What is our square footage on this again? Somewhere around...
We have 1,200. 3 of them are about 1,200, and 2 of them are like 1,500.
Yep. And they're all 3-bedroom units. We're going to plan to build it. We're going to keep these as rental property also. Okay. We want to add to our portfolio of rentals. How long do you think it's going to take to actually, from this point forward, demo it all until the time we're ready to lease the property? How long do you think it's going to take to build 5 units in Seattle these days?
Gosh, we're hoping that we can get this thing done in a year. That's our hope. If we can do this in 12 months, plus or minus, depending on what kind of things happen, this winter and how bad weather and snow and ice, those things delay us during the winter, but we're shooting for a 1-year build on this.
All right, let's go outside. Let's get this thing ready for demo. We got my man Dave. He's about to let me get on the machine, and we're gonna have to. So let me make sure I don't hit the house in the back, Dave. All right.
That one does okay.
That's right.
So Thach, this is Dave Fahimi, Dave Thach. Yeah.
I said to Lorenz, how come we never YouTube house going down. That's the best content ever. We don't get to demo houses often, you know what I mean? But when we do, we gotta be there. You gotta make sure everything's lined up, the power wire, you gotta make sure it's not in the way, the tree's not in the way. You gotta make sure that it doesn't fall into the other house. Man, you gotta have a professional doing this, man. Otherwise, it's gonna cause a lot more damage. One of the things we gotta do is when there's certain tree that's in the way, we gotta cut the tree down. So this tree was in the way, so we gotta cut this tree down. We have to move the power line, get it out of the way. And so, whoa. A lot of work taking down a house. People don't realize Seattle, they're so picky about cutting trees. Why they're so picky, and what's the rule of which tree you cut down?
Trees in Seattle are rated by their size, and so when we get over a certain size or a certain species, then they call them exceptional trees. And so if your property's got an exceptional tree on it, you really want to know about it up front. It can stop your development from maximizing the square footage on it, or it can make it so you can't develop at all without going through fines and a whole bunch of permitting issues with the city.
We had a deal where we were looking at that we can build 3 townhouses, but there were 2 trees that literally sat almost in the middle of this lot, and we couldn't cut the tree down, and the deal was a dead deal because the city wouldn't allow us to cut down because it was a little bit, the diameter was too big. And that's an example. Sometimes in Seattle, when you have trees bigger than 25 inches, right?
Yeah, the rules change depending on the species, but they're talking about moving it to 24. So it was 30. Now they're talking about making it down to 24. So once you get out of 24, you might have an issue.
There you go, guys. They about to put me on the excavator machine, baby. Take down this property, baby. Come on, let's get it. I won't take your job, man. I need content.
I'll trade you jobs. Okay, hop in. Now everything's live. That swings you back and forth. Open and close your bucket.
Almost like a helicopter.
Almost. That's for your thumb. You push to open. Close it.
So this one here is closed.
Yeah.
Got it. This one here is open.
Yeah.
Closed. Okay.
We'll give you a little more throttle.
No. Here we go. No kill. Hey, listen, I'm gonna stick with real estate investing, not demoing houses. I'll leave it up to my man Dave. Thank you, my man.
That was good. You did a good job.
You take a little bit of timing of which way to go, and actually there's a skill set I noticed. You gotta know where to put that arm to really maximize getting that property, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I noticed that if you don't put that arm down at a certain place, it's gonna take forever to get this house down.
Yeah.
You gotta just keep punching it up and throwing it back inside.
Is there a skill thing? What's the one biggest skill someone gotta know how to do when they do this?
Try to keep the garbage in one spot. Don't spread it all over.
Organize it into a nice pile, and then you can load it quickly.
Right. How do you keep the house from not falling over to somebody's house?
Just while you're taking it apart, you keep pulling it up to the inside, so you know how tough the structure is when you hold it.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
So one of the questions that a lot of people always ask is, what does it cost to build new construction, just in general? So we're gonna give you guys an idea what it costs to build in Seattle. Let's start off with permitting. How long does it take to permit a 5-unit site like this, like that these days in Seattle?
This one recently took us 10 months, I believe, from beginning all the way to actually issuing the permit.
And what does it cost to get permit from the time we buy the property? So we pay roughly like $950,000 for this lot. It's about 5,500 square foot lot because it's multi-units, why you pay so much for it, right? From the time we pay for surveys and then permit, what does it roughly cost to permit like 1 townhouses, for example, so people get an idea?
Rough ballpark, you can figure on about $25,000 per unit. So on a 5-unit site, about $125,000. There's a ton of things that go into that, of course. You know, surveying, geotechnical, arborist reports, architect, engineers, all of those things that go into that. city fees for your submissions and your permits and your reviews. And then we also have what's called a mandatory housing authority affordability fee that goes on top of that. That's not within that $25,000.
Nice.
Here in Seattle, we have to pay that MHA fee, and that can range depending on where you're located. That could be $7 to $20-some per square foot of building. So that usually works out to another $20,000-$25,000 per unit to get your permit actually issued. They won't issue it without that fee as well in
So
Seattle.
for example, one of these, it costs us $25,000 per unit. So you literally get to basically get this thing ready for permitting, and then we're gonna pay $25,000 hauler fee, this mandatory housing authority the city want. That's another $25,000. So at the end of the day, each one of these units, it costs us 50 grand cash times 5 to have it ready for us to demo the house. What does it cost these days to construct new construction?
So hard costs now, what we would call hard costs, those other costs we call soft costs. Once you've gotten onto the sticks and bricks, we call that hard costs, and we're probably in the range of about $250 to $275 a square foot on average, depending on the site. Lots of sites are different, depending on the slope. If you're flat, if you've got retaining walls, if you've got a lot of street frontage, a corner lot, for example, would have a lot more street frontage repair because you got to go down two sides of the lot. So those can factor into your budget, of course, and vary that number.
So for a lot of people I noticed all across the United States, especially California, you guys are roughly somewhere in that same zone, 250 to 275, $300 a square foot, and that's what they go for. So when you talk about 1,500 square feet times 250, 275, 300, you guys can do the math. You can see what it costs to do one of these things, plus the 50 grand up front for the soft cost. So at the end of the day, each one of these units could cost us all in with bank financing probably somewhere around 550.
Yeah, 550, 600,000 nowadays. You know, cost is going up, and unfortunately, in the market we're in right now,
that's right,
the values are coming down. So we're getting pressure, we're getting squeezed. There really is not the same profit there anymore that there was. So
our intention, hopefully, in the market turn around, that we can get somewhere at least $150,000 profit after everything's clear, and more. But again, all that is all predicted what's going to happen with interest rate in the market tomorrow. But we're going to keep this property, so we're not too worried about it. But we're hoping that the ARV is going to be a little bit on the high side. That way we have a lot of equity by the time we're done. One of the questions that a lot of people always ask me when we do new construction is, should you do new construction right now? Especially if you're inexperienced. What's your thoughts on that?
With the market doing what it's doing right now, I wouldn't recommend an inexperienced person getting into new construction right now. The costs are still so high and the values are still coming down pretty erratically. You can look in your own market and you can see new home sales. They're dropping the prices right now by $50,000, $60,000, $75,000 right now to try and get their sales. The market is not very stable or predictable, and new construction is very volatile, lots of risk in it, so I wouldn't advise that for the inexperienced.
If you got experience, make sure you got to buy the right property, pay the right price for it, have long-term vision versus buy, fix, and flip, which is way more riskier. Chris and I, we buy stuff to fix and hold. It's a little bit less riskier, but the key is you got to have cash, because you just never know when something is overdrawn. We need to pay it ourselves versus the bank paying us money to do it.
If you can build it and you have a backup plan to hold on to it, you can wait out to another market cycle, and then you can sell in a better market cycle.
Right.
And in the meantime, you can have renters that are carrying the cost of that project for you.
That's right. So today you guys got a glimpse to see basically what we pay for the property, which is $950 for this dirt. And we're hoping to make, let's just say $150 minimum a door. Hopefully the real estate god is gonna help us out, and hopefully more. Times 5, you can do the math on that. This is gonna be turned into a rental property by the time we're done. You guys got to see what it costs to demo, what it takes to demo a house, all the whole things, right? So if you guys like what you guys heard today, you'd like to see more of these videos, like, comment, subscribe. We'll make some more videos for you guys. Peace out.